What's going on, Salt Strong Nation? Today I'm going to be reviewing the Z-Man Trout Trick. These are some really interesting lures, have a lot of action to them, a lot of strength to them. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of this lure. I'm going to show you some on-the-water footage, give you some rigging tutorials, give you everything you need to know about this bait before you buy it. So to start off with the pros for this Z-Man Trout Trick, as you can see, it's made out of that 10X Elastec material. If you've never used Z-Man products, this is a very strong material that you do not find in a lot of soft plastics. Products like Gulp generally are really susceptible to being torn apart by pufferfish, pinfish, things like that, and this Z-Man material, the 10X, is really great at keeping as many soft plastics on your hook as possible. Generally, I would go through 10 gulps before I would go through one of these, so that is a really big pro for these if you've not used Z-Mans before. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, another thing that Elastec material brings to the table is buoyancy. When this bait sits on the bottom on a jig head, it will stand just like this. I'll show you some on the water footage right now. You can see it is just bouncing around, sitting right on its head. Very natural presentation, would imitate almost a bait fish feeding off the bottom. It could attract some predators its way. Now, if you were to get a similar style lure, this is just a bass worm from Bass Pro or one of these Zoom fluke baits that has the same action as the Trout Trick. If you were to try to get those to stand on their head, they would just fall down flat and it would not provide a very natural presentation. But I do want to be clear, it is the same action in the water, and even if you were to be using the jerk bait and you had it sitting, I gave it 2 quick pops, you can see it's the exact same action. So really the big benefit though is the ability to be buoyant and sit on its head, give that natural presentation as if it was a bait fish that was sitting on the bottom. But there is one big con with this lure, and that is ease of rigging. I do recommend when you use these lures, you use a Z-Man Trout Eye jig head or the Z-Man Texas Eye jig heads. If you use the Mustad grip pins, they don't do a great job at holding this lure. It is a decent alternative, but ideally you're going to want to use the Trout Eye jig heads that have these nice spikes that hold on to the Z-Man material really well. Now, I have had some people ask me what's better to use for this lure. Do you use the Trout Eye or the Redfish Eye? I recommend that you use the Trout Eye, specifically the 1/8 if possible. This is a really great lure for shallow water fishing, for sight fishing, when you're really up close and personal, so you should not need too much of a weight. And the reason that I like it over the Redfish Eye is you can see the difference in the length of the shank. So if you take this Redfish Eye and you were to put it on this Trout Eye jig, it would take away a lot of the action because you're getting down to here with the Redfish Eye as opposed to the Trout Eye that would be up here. So you're going to give the lure a lot better action to work with as opposed to if you have the Redfish Eye and you're getting a little bit less out of that tail. So that is the big con, is the ease of rigging, but it can easily be remedied if you do have these Trout Eye jig heads that do a really good job on that Z-Man material. As I want to show you some on the water footage of how effective these lures can be. I was out with a local guide recently who told me that these Trout Tricks were one of his top 3 lures for fishing in coastal marshes. So don't think just because you are in dirty water you can't use finesse baits like this. Guys in Florida, you can definitely crush the snook and redfish and trout with these guys, obviously Trout Trick. But again, up here in the Carolinas where I'm at, coastal Georgia, South Carolina, even up into Virginia, these are lures that you could use on flounder, striped bass, redfish, the whole 9. So let's get into some catch footage.
Trout Trick. You know when that fish sense hits you, man, you know what's gonna happen. On the Trout Trick. I think so.
All right, guys, that is gonna wrap up the review for the Z-Man Trout Trick. I had a fun time reviewing this for you guys. If there's any questions that I did not answer, please leave them below. I'd be happy to get to you there. But if there are any experiences you've had with this lure, good or bad, I wanna hear about them. We can have an open discussion in the comments below. That way everyone can get a wide berth of knowledge about this lure. But I do wanna reiterate, Salt Strong is not sponsored by this tackle manufacturer or any other tackle manufacturers. Our loyalties lie 100% with you guys when we do these reviews. That way we can make these reviews to help you make smart tackle purchases, and again, with our shop, help you save some money with our insider discount. Now, if there are anything else that you guys would like us to review, please leave it in the comment section below. We'd be more than happy to test those lures out. I'm about to head out with these guys and see what I can do. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the water doing the same soon.
Hey there, it's Joe Simons, one of the co-founders here at Salt Strong, and have you claimed your free pack of these irresistible Slam Shady paddle tail lures? We designed this lure with over 12,000 serious inshore anglers, including many full-time guides, to go out there and catch more redfish, more speckled trout, more snook, more flounder, more inshore saltwater slams. And if you want a free pack to try out a sample yourself, click down below right now. We have one free pack per angler while supplies last. Click down below right now.